The road ends in Philadelphia on Memorial Day, but it begins today in upstate New York inside the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse. The Orange begin their 2024 campaign against the Vermont Catamounts out of the America East. Coming up next on the ACC Network. Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Cotter alongside Paul Carcaterra. Carc, anytime we start a new lacrosse season, hope springs eternal. There's a lot of anticipation, but I can't remember having this much anticipation and really excitement for a Syracuse team as we have this year.
Well, Cotter, you're stuck with me for the next 4 months, so good luck. But when you think of Orange Nation, I cannot remember an offense as deep and as talented as the Orange in 2024 since way back to 2015 when guys like Kevin Rice and Randy Stotts were playing. The question they have from last season to now was their defense and their face-off play, but they addressed both of those issues in the offseason, so the expectations are sky high for Gary Gait in year 3.
Well, the offense was really potent last year. You talk about players coming back. How about a couple of superstars that attack in Owen Hiltz and Joey Spallina?
Owen Hiltz is so smooth, the lefty Canadian. Beautiful shooting stroke with vision to boot. He owns the left side. And then Spallina, the freshman last year, drew the top matchup every game and delivered. He led the team in goals, assists, and points. The spotlight's on him, and he embraces it.
You know, when you think about the transfer portal, the consensus was that Syracuse won it. They bring in Christian Mule at attack, plus Jake Stevens and Sam English. A couple of Canadians, graduate transfers from Princeton. They're going to help a lot.
Two-way ballers, too. These guys are all over the field on wings on face-offs, can play defense, can play offense. They're good in the extra man game. So just what the doctor ordered, owning the middle of field with two-way guys Gary Gait really coveted.
Chris Fifes, you know, he's won 2 America East tournament championships and 1 regular season championship in the last 3 years. Got to fill a lot of holes this year, though, doesn't he, in this lineup?
A ton of holes. When you look at the starting lineup, it's almost entirely new, and you do have your leading scorer in Brock Haley back, but he was an attacker in the past. Now he plays up at the midfield. He is a Canadian right-handed player who can stretch a defense, and I like this move because he's accustomed to playing against long sticks. Now he's above goal line extended where he's most comfortable.
Gary Gait, his 3rd season as the top dog here in Syracuse. He, of course, coached the women's team for a number of years before taking over coaching the men. Widely regarded as the greatest lacrosse player in the sport's history. Henry Dodge is going to take this face-off for Vermont. We may see as many as 3 different face-off specialists for the Catamounts. And Mason Cone, the transfer from Tufts, takes the draw for Syracuse and a violation on the opening draw, but we are underway here on the ACC Network. The 2024 college lacrosse season is upon us. First possession of the day to the Catamounts. You mentioned in the opening, Carc, a lot of holes to fill for Chris Fifes, and we'll see a lot of new faces in this Catamount attack. One of them, Griffin Fenech, was part of that first midfield line last year. Here he's trying to dodge from X. Here's Charlie Pope. See, he's got that right knee wrapped up. It's the knee he injured last year. Now behind the cage, it's a turnover forced by Syracuse.
You'll see a lot more of Vermont's offense operating from behind the cage. Danny Murphy, their offensive coordinator, is an attacker in college at Tufts. You're going to see way more of an influence from X, where in the past you saw a lot of midfield-driven type play. Expect Pope and the gang to attack from behind.
Sam English with the ball in his cross. 70 points in his career at Princeton. And that's Michael Leo. Coach Gates says, I expect a lot from number 7 in white this year. Underrated player, but now Syracuse turns the ball over early.
A lot of first quarter jitters. Mason Cone jumps on the face-off on that first whistle. Charlie Pope from Vermont throws it away. Now Cuse throws it away. It's about taking a deep breath and understanding what your role is.
Vermont on the run, tough angle. Decided against taking the shot. They'll circle it back around this side to Pope.
He's a big boy. Billy Dwan probably the most technical defender for the Orange, has the assignment of Pope, a hard righty bull dodger, 87 in green.
Yeah, Coach Vice said Pope was about 240 last year. He's slimmed down to about 225, much more athletic this year, and is able to move much quicker after coming off that knee injury.
Yeah, he's jacked too. Can do a ton of pull-ups, owns the weight room. Between him and 77 on defense, Mason Bardwell. Cotter would like to go on a retreat with those meatheads.
With Bardwell, an outstanding high school football player, middle linebacker.
There he is.
Freshman defender. There he is, 77 in green. He's a #1 cover guy as a freshman.
Welcome to college lacrosse, right? Here's Joey Spallina.
Jake Stevens putting the ball in play. Getting it over to Tucker Kellogg, freshman, 40 in white. Watch him shoot the ball. He's got a rocket.
40 in white, shoots 115 miles per hour. Run for cover.
Spallina trying to come upfield. Neither team with a scoring opportunity yet. Hiltz with the extra pass. That one was deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Syracuse. 20 to shoot.
I like Spallina there, though. He had the shorty, and he didn't rush it. He understood they'd be going quick and found Hiltz.
Christian Mule, #2 in white, the transfer from Lehigh. Stevens on the run. 3 to shoot. Gonna have to get something quick. Won't get it. Shot off the mark after the horn anyways for the shot clock violation. Both teams really trying to feel things out. Haven't really had any great scoring opportunities yet, Cart.
We haven't. And there's so many knowns, and expectations are so high for Syracuse every time they touch the ball offensively, because so many guys are back, and then you have English and Stevens from Princeton give you more gas. This Vermont offense is so young and new and inexperienced. It's a tough group to actually scout, right?
And as you mentioned in the open, change of positions. You know, Brock Haley, team captain, 52 points last year at attack, moving him to midfield. You got Jonas Hunter, another one of the captains. A lot was expected of him, but he re-injured a knee. And so he's going to miss this season. Trying for the quick outlet. Mark is off the mark. Still can't find Billy Dwan, and who's going to end up picking it up? It's our guy 77, Mason Bardwell, out of Indiana, of all places.
Yeah, that is a heads-up play. You see how he kind of just goosed it to himself? Felt the pressure and understood that if he kind of just pushed that ball to the side 5 yards, he'd escape the pressure to get that ground ball. Heads-up play by the freshman. The other guy that you have to watch on this offense is Tristan Whitaker. Probably their best all-around player, the midfielder. Two-handed player. You talk to Fife, he loves the future of this sophomore.
Luke Ryder now from X has his defender hung up. Looking for a cutter. Gonna take it upfield himself. Second midfield line on the field now for this Vermont Catamount team. Here's Colin Decker, one of those new attackmen you talk about. Skip past Ryder, can't get the shot off. Beautiful check. Here we go the other way. Tough pass. Hiltz with a nice catch. Shovel shot wide. Vermont wins the race to the ball on the end line. They'll take over possession. So a furious fast break by Syracuse ends up coming up empty.
Yeah, I think it gave the fans in the dome some hope, right? Incredible check by Billy Dwan. You're hitting in transition. Spallina to Hiltz, just unlucky with that backhand shovel.
Going to get a timeout on the field, as Vermont was in a little bit of trouble. They'll keep possession, still scoreless here inside the dome. Yeah, Fife's in our conversation with him talked a lot about, you know, the pleasure of being able to coach kids up, because, yeah, and you think about the scrimmages, he said it was all about going back to basics with our own systems and drilling that into these kids so they have it, so it's on autopilot when the season begins. Maybe not quite there yet. Fenech comes upfield. Can't get anything on that shot. Now we're going to get a call, though, out front. First penalty of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold on 12 and white. Carter Rice. See the replay here. Fenech is just trying to get above goal line extended. That's a good call. That's a blatant hold. Here's the deal, Cotter, which is striking to me and pleasing to hear. With all the great offensive players that Chris Pfeiffer has had in the past, you know, guys like McCormick, guys like McConvey that could stretch a defense and incredible stick handlers. This unproven offense, he thinks, could be their best extra man power play unit he's ever coached.
Yeah, he really likes what they were able to do in their scrimmages as well. So let's see if it carries over to today. Ball movement, now the skip pass through a lot of sticks. Didn't get through, but it's picked up by the Catamounts. Still 10 seconds. That's Whitaker, 23. Shot from the far side, wide of the mark, stays with Vermont. With just 4 seconds on the man up. Here's Pope. Out front, Whitaker spins, shoots, scores! The sophomore from Wayne, PA, puts the Catamounts up.
He's their best player. He's relentless in his work ethic in the offseason. Chris Pfeiffer sometimes has to scale him back because he wants it so bad, 23 in green. You see that ball kind of pops up, catches it after he looks like he's not going to be able to handle the rock, but the understanding of where pressure's coming through, like he kind of countered that pressure and rolled at the same time. That's a heads-up play by that sophomore.
Dodge again taking the draw for the Catamounts. Mason Cone battling for Syracuse. Loose ball violation going to go against the Catamounts this time. It'll be Syracuse ball.
Everyone wants to see this new face-off unit. Mason Cone, the transfer from Tufts. At one time, he was an Army hockey commit. Goes to Tufts, plays 2 sports. An incredible athlete, but you also have guys like Jake Stevens, Matt Wright on the wings.
Yeah, Coach Gates said the scrimmage loss to Michigan, he wasn't happy with much, but he was very happy with what the face-off crew was doing.
And that was needed because in ACC play last year, they were around 40%.
English, a couple of 15s going at it. English trying to dodge, got a hand free. Inside, scoop shot, Mule scores. Quick hands in front for the transfer from Lehigh.
Christian Mule will do whatever you ask of him. Last year at Lehigh, top 5 in the country in assists. Well, welcome to the Dome, Christian, where the ball moves at hyperspeed. Finn Thomson, alert up top. Mule cans it.
Syracuse and Vermont tied at 1 apiece here in the first quarter. That's a good look at Mason Cone, the transfer from Tufts. Led the Jumbos all the way to the championship game in D3 last year before bowing down to Salisbury and Carc. How badly does he want to win a title and do some big things in his 1 year here at Syracuse? He's deferring UCLA Law School so he can take draws this year for the Orange.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And you make the jump from D3 to D1, and you're a captain in your first year. It tells you a lot about his work ethic, his desire, his want. Now, I don't want to put too much pressure on Mason Cone or Johnny Mullins, the freshman face-off guy you'll see too, or this face-off unit as a whole. That will dictate this season because it will let their defense rest, who was gassed a year ago, got exposed, but it'll also give this high-octane offense chances to just really be relentless in their ball movement.
The wing play with Stevens and Sam Alexo, who's back at LSM after really being forced to play close defense last year, a position that Gary Gates said was not his natural position. Now he's back at LSM. And look at Bardwell on the move, 77 in green, spins to keep possession. And then can't hook up with his offensive player, Cullen Decker, and it goes the other way.
Yeah, it was a great effort and move initially by Bardwell, but the experience You got to understand, just step away from pressure, run to daylight, and make that pass where you're in space, and then it gives an opportunity for your teammate who's next, who's adjacent, to maybe go in his defender and then pop out to get a clean pass in that spot.
Stevens on the run, blows by his defender, tries to get it to Rhoa. Hits the carpet, but Hiltz is there. That pass was deflected, out of bounds. 48 to shoot, it's still Syracuse ball. Jackson Birtwhistle, by the way, in sweats today. Don't have an exact detail on the injury situation with him, but 9 in white. Birtwhistle will not play today. And we look for further details on his situation throughout the afternoon. Spallina with a spin move, dives, stop made by Egan. Spallina gets it back. Syracuse will have a fresh 60 seconds if they choose to use it all. They might not. Spallina looking to move quickly. Shot off the pipe. And he'll stay with Syracuse, so some furious action.
It's Wyatt Hoddle, 19 in white. He has speed. The freshman from Baltimore, Maryland can fly. One of the fastest players on the team. If he gets a short stick matchup, he's not the biggest dude. His feet are electric.
Spallina trying to work on the freshman Bardwell. Rolls. Stop made by Egan. He's able to cover up and get possession.
It's a good stop by Egan. I thought Spallina had some nice deception on that shot, too. A little twister at the end.
Here comes Stevens. Oh, nothing Egan's going to do about that one. Rhoa buries it. Cuse on top.
Two things stand out. One is the upfield awareness of Jake Stevens finding the extra pass, 14 in white. And then Rhoa, who's so two-handed, you don't even know if he's right-handed or left-handed. The patience not to shoot that ball right away. To understand that if he continues, he'll have time for a nice fake on Egan, get him to move. A lot of players, when you're 5-7 yards out, you catch that ball, you turn and shoot right away. The patience of Rhoa was on display.
Cone wins it back to English. And now Sam English will slow things down, get it to Finn Thomson. First time we've really mentioned 23 in white. Finn Thomson, his name today. Hiltz skip pass and beauty. Now the one move by Thomson and just whistles it wide.
You know, the beauty of Stevens and English, the two grad transfers from Princeton to Syracuse, on the wings on faceoffs, you keep them on their instant offense. But if you lose the faceoff, these guys are accustomed to playing high-end defense.
English gets it over to Leo. Now behind the cage to Spallina. Egan coming out there to challenge him. And we'll get a crease violation against Syracuse. Looked like Mule may have stepped inside the crease. Yeah.
Christian Mule, 2 in white. If I'm Syracuse with this young defense, I'm pressure riding them. I'm making Vermont clear the ball with a lot of guys who aren't accustomed to playing in these spots. And right there, it's a little bit softer a ride, allowing them full court press, force them to clear the ball with pressure.
Here's Haley. Got a shorty on him, Rice. Carter Rice, the best D-midi, most experienced D-midi on this Syracuse team. He's checking Brock Haley, who used to be an attackman last year. Gonna be a turnover against Vermont, though. And Syracuse gives it right back. It's almost as if Riley Figueres lost it in the lights.
Yeah, that can't happen. A basic transfer after a poorly executed offensive rep by Vermont gives you the ball and you turn it right back over.
Fenech dodging down the alley, now behind the cage, and Vermont turns it over.
This kind of coincides with what I was saying earlier too, Cotter, in terms of their clearing. Vermont has so many young players. Now, these guys are going to be really good. Chris Fifes is one of the best younger coaches in the country. He will get these guys good. But week one, when you have all these freshmen and sophomores all over the field, guys who are inexperienced, I'm pressuring them when I'm riding, but I'm also pressuring them when I'm on defense.
Vinny Trujillo clears it. He stays on the field for the time being. In there with Jake Stevens. Trujillo still in the game, 18 in white. Oh, what a goal after a beautiful pass. Cross-field pass, Carc. And Syracuse takes a 3-1 lead. Joey Spallina out of nowhere.
This is beautiful. What a pass by Mule and the one-timer. These two have played together in the summer for Team 91. They know each other in terms of their tendencies. Their fathers are good friends. They've been in so many backyards together, so many pro lacrosse games, watching the Long Island Lizards over the years. And the chemistry, and I'm so impressed with Christian Mule's assorted type game. You saw him score inside right away for the first goal for Syracuse, and then that pass. That's what he did last year at Lehigh, where his game kind of skyrocketed. His vision. Early in his career at Lehigh, he was kind of a finisher, a goal scorer, became an elite passer.
Stevens tried to, not sure if that was a shot or a pass inside, but it ends up going the other way. Vermont now with possession.
You know, Cotter, when you play with guys for so long and you know their tendencies, sometimes you take a little bit more of a risk or a chance, right? So Mule has that ball. I don't know if he's feeding everyone like that, but when you have your boy on the other end, Spallina, you feel different.
Vermont scored first in this game. Syracuse's answer with 3 straight. Now the Catamounts looking to get back with an offensive tally here. Boyle behind. Sam Bowen tries to roll back to his right. It's got nothing. Boyle. Tough shot. He scores. Got it over Trujillo's shoulder, Carc. It's 3-2 now.
Yeah, Trujillo's 5'9", 178. Carson Boyle. Well, he sits at 6 feet, 200 pounds. A little bit of a muscle dodge there. And that's what happens when you're bigger and you can use your body around goal line extended. Even if it's not a clean break, Cotter, you can get the shot over and around the defensive pressure. And that's what Boyle did on that rep.
Another player who was an attackman last year moved to the midfield, but you could see his prowess coming from X on that play, and it's 3-2. Henry Dodge has taken every draw for Vermont. Violation against Dodge, and that's going to be a penalty because that's his 3rd of the first half already.
Yeah, and here's the bad news. It's still the first quarter, so every violation after will result in a 30-second technical.
There's Coach Fifes. Signed a contract extension in the offseason.
Smart AD, well deserved. We had a great call with him. He's embraced living in northern Vermont, beautiful area, Burlington. Really put his stamp on this program.
Man, your best penalty killer's got to be your goalie, and Egan making a beautiful save there.
Yeah, and Fifes knows what it's like about having good goalies. Won a national title in 2016 as a defensive coordinator for North Carolina and Joe Bresci. That season, Brian Balcom went on a huge run in the cage for the Tar Heels.
Look at the pressure being put on by Syracuse defensively. And it's going to force a turnover. Aggressive in the middle of the field.
They are, and they should be. And I keep on harping on that. Vermont's struggling for making those passes with pressure on them, whether it's clearing or if it's in a 6-on-6 offensive set. If I'm Syracuse, I'm blitzing.
Spallina. Now he's got the shorty on him. He'll look to dodge. Does. Gets the pass to Hiltz. Hiltz shoots high.
That's one Hiltz is going to want back, right? Quick slide because Spallina has the short stick. Hiltz kind of finds that top crease area. When he has time and room, he's so dangerous.
English trying to find something. Final seconds. Horn sounds. Syracuse won't get a shot off. First quarter of the season for both Vermont and Syracuse. Feeling each other out. Look at Whitaker, outstanding spin move and a goal to put Vermont on the board early. Rhoa, though, answers. 3-2 after one. Cuse on top. Heading to the second quarter here in Syracuse, 3-2, Orange on top. A lot has been made about the newcomers that transferred into the Syracuse program in the offseason. Stevens and English from Princeton, Cone from Tufts at the faceoff dot, and Christian Mule.
Yeah, offensively, when you bring in transfers, when you have such a good offense already, it can't be a ball-dominant type player. Christian Mule fits the bill because he can play off ball and he's got elite vision. Top 5 in the country a season ago when he was a Lehigh senior. Now the grad transfer understands that he's a piece to the puzzle. And the way that this offense operates with Pat March and Gary Gate, who run the offense, you have to understand how to play with and without the ball, and the ball can't stick in your cross. If you're holding the ball and you want to make it about you as a Dodger, you're not going to play on this offense. Christian Mule understands that, and he will flow with this unit.
Walter Zhao now taking this face-off for Vermont, and Cone wins it clearly. Now the two Fogos will run off. Stevens will wait for help. Comes in the form of Finn Thomson. Spallina now up front. Got loose for a moment, finds Mule. Egan makes the save. He's been sharp here early.
He has. I think he's been outstanding. First-year starter. First game as a starter. Come up to the dome. He's answered the bill.
How about that play by the offensive player and Michael Leo? Forced a turnover, but Catamounts get it right back.
If you're Vermont, you want to see some kind of flow offensively. There's been a ton of turnovers in this game. Cuse has won the last 4 faceoffs, and now your offense is a little cold. You're not in the flow. You have to get a good possession here.
Decker puts his shoulder into the defender. Can't quite turn the corner, though, so it's back up top. Here's Pope. Collision right there with Caden Cole. Cole's all over him up front. All over him. Pope still with possession, though.
Yeah, that is a body matchup right there by 2 players.
Ball hits the outside of the cage. So Mark will give chase.
You know, Syracuse will roll out 10 to 11 offensive players. So it's hard for everyone really to feast. One game it could be a handful of guys. The next game it could be another handful. First quarter, 7 different players got shots off. That tells you that this offense is varied. It's diverse in terms of where they attack from up top and behind. It's a bear to deal with.
Spallina finds Mule. Shot, score! Beautiful ball movement. Jake Stevens finishes it.
This finish isn't just a good finish, it's elite. The look by Mule is really good. The pass was a tough one to catch. Okay, Mule comes up. He throws it to Stevens, who then brings the stick across his body and makes a fake all in one motion here. Turns and the fake. That is elite, man. Jake Stevens is an incredible player. He will be playing professional lacrosse in 2 leagues for over a decade. Bank it.
First goal wearing the Syracuse orange after scoring 46 over the last 2 seasons in Princeton orange. Now Cone really starting to feel it, wins another one.
You realize how hard of a finish that is, right, Cotter? Catch, turn away from the goal, locate the goal, all within a fraction of a second, and fake the goalie and can it.
And it was the no-look pass that faked everybody out and almost faked out Stevens, too. Yeah. English, his turn. Yes, he finishes. So both Princeton transfers, back-to-back goals. First Stevens, now English.
Anyone who really watches lacrosse knows that Jake Stevens and Sam English, with this low-to-low rip right there, knows their impact. Because they could score a goal or two, but they could impact the game in so many different ways. Wings on face-offs, playing defense, playing extra man. You cover the PLL on ESPN. Zach Currier is the unicorn of all midfielders because he does everything. In the college game, it's very specialized. These two are different because of everything they do, and they have an above-average skill set in every category, which makes them completely different.
Ball gets lost, no one can find it, straight up in the air. And now the chase ensues, going to go out of bounds to Syracuse. Syracuse is taking control of the face-off, Cark, and it's giving them a lot of opportunity offensively.
Yeah, 6 straight. Mason Cone feeling it in the groove. After the first face-off, he jumps because he's antsy and amped up. He's feeling it right now. A lot of picks in this offense, too. 6 or 7 of their top 10 guys, all Canadian box background. Joey Spallina, an American, spent last summer in Canada playing that game, so you'll see a lot of picks in this offense.
Here's Hiltz. In front. Once again, Mule right on the doorstep. And Syracuse is hot right now on offense.
This is good offense because everyone's concerned about the pick. You see all the eyes of the guys in green? They're concerned of the pick because they think the guy coming off the pick is the dodger and the scorer. The guy coming off the pick becomes the passer, and that's Owen Hiltz. He sees all the green eyes at him. Who's the back door? Christian Mule. So many times you see in offense, the pick translates into the shooter, right? The guy who's going to score and shoot off the pick. In that case, Owen Hiltz recognizes everyone is looking at him because he comes off this pick. They're thinking Hiltz might be the dodger, he might be the scorer. He's the passer. There's deception there.
The freshman John Mullen taking this draw for Syracuse, and he wins it.
You know what you'll love with Mullins as Carter Rice comes down. You'll love this, Cotter. The 2 big weight room guys for Cuse are their face-off guys, Mason Cone and Johnny Mullins. Johnny Mullins is a freshman. Johnny Mullins reminds me a little bit stylistically. You know, he cradles the ball a little bit different, but what he does, Pete LaSalla. You know, Pete LaSalla would score goals, could stay on and play offense. Johnny Mullins came from a high school program where he had to do a little bit of everything. So when he's on the face-off, he can play some offense.
Spallina has all kinds of time and space, but it hits the outside of the cage. Didn't have a great angle, as Egan was able to come down and cut that angle off. And now a little bit of pressure, Cark, on this cleared. They make hay by forcing the turnover.
Yep, I'm all out blitzing this unit. They haven't proven to me yet that they can clear the ball with pressure on them.
So this onslaught now continues for this offense, putting Vermont on their heels defensively. English Looking to use a pick. Over to Hiltz. He gets free. Shoots. Hits the pipe. Sends it wide. Stays with Syracuse. It's like running the weave at the top of the key, Carc, in basketball.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, too? Every player on this offense is kind of bought in because of the success last year of the ball movement and understanding that if it moves at hyperspeed, everyone will eat.
This time the Orange turn it over. And Vermont now, something we haven't seen very much of here in this second quarter, an opportunity to go 6-on-6 on the offensive end.
Tough part for Vermont here, Cotter, is with all the new pieces and then moving Haley from attack to midfield. Who's your quarterback? Who's your calming presence? Like, who's the guy on offense that every single opportunity and series you're running the ball through?
Over to Pope. Nice catch. Trying to muscle his way in, try to force a pass right in front, and it gets deflected. Syracuse on the move. Alexo gives it off. Pass in front, shoot, score! Billy Dwan.
You want to see some run and gun Cuse. It's a great knockdown by Caden Cole. And it's off to the races. And you mentioned, Cotter, having Sam Alexo back at the defensive midfield position allows to strike in transition, but it doesn't stop with him. The close defender, Dwan, he senses space upfield. No one picks him up. They catch him in the sub game. Billy Dwan, the third, sticks it. 7 goals for Cuse, all 7 assisted. That is sharing the rock.
Cone back at the dot, going up against Dodge. Loose ball in the middle of the field. Cone had a shot, couldn't pick it up. Now we're going to get a loose ball push. It's going to go against Syracuse. Looks like Cone got a push in the back. Vermont, opportunity to go quickly here, down 7-2. Fenech looking to dive. Back behind the cage. Trying to make a move on Trujillo.
So with the lack of quarterback presence, you're seeing midfielders inverted, like Fenech.
Mark with the save.
And that's what I was mentioning before, Cotter, the lack of a true quarterback, right, to give you that calming presence. Now the midfielders are going from up top, taking the short sticks, going behind to try to find some flow in the Vermont offense.
Rhoa winds up and scores. Carc, seems to be a little confusion with this Vermont team. A lot of room for these Syracuse shooters to step down and fire.
They're spraying it. When you give Aiton White some time and a little giddy up, one of the sharpshooters for the Orange, they're feeling it up big in the dome.
Check out Thursday on the ACC Network. Got a full slate starting with ACC PM at 4 o'clock. Then a doubleheader for women's basketball, highlighted with Virginia Tech at NC State. Top 20 matchup there, followed by Nothing But Net on the ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Syracuse taking control of this game against Vermont 8-2 as both teams begin their 2024 campaign. Good look at Gary Gate.
He's growing that hair out.
Yeah, look at it. It's got it slicked back, kind of like the Pat Riley style there, but all silver. Silver Fox.
Pat Riley, my old coach Roy Simmons was a Silver Fox as well. Would slick it back. He'd wear the hat game day though.
Even indoors.
Yep.
Okay.
Where's the offense here? Vermont only 2 shots this quarter. Searching for an identity. Tristan Whitaker, their best player. He's going to get the pull on Alexo, but when you want your offense to get rolling, sometimes you just got to go with your best guy, 23 in green, the two-handed midfielder, Probably needs a touch here.
Sliding the ball around. Here's Haley, captain, 11 in green. Fenech is going to shoot, doesn't get through.
Yeah, those step-away shots are going to be hard to go on mark, right? Because you're losing some of your oomph. You're fading away from the cage, Fenech, against an All-American goalie.
Here he is again, looking to attack on Stevens, who stays on the field. Fenech shoots and scores! And we get a flag.
Wasn't fading away on that one, man. That was all wrists and rip. And the location on a righty goalie here. Look at Will Mark here. Fenech gets underneath Stevens, and then the smart thing is he gets upfield. Those last 2 steps increase his angle.
35 white, 1 minute slash, face it out.
That's Billy Dwan with the slash after the shot, or while Fenech was shooting, so they're going to face it off. It's not a dead ball foul. He got him before he scored, so it is a face-off. But Vermont on the extra man. But Fenech just showed crazy wrist strength there.
Good opportunity here for Vermont. Claw their way back into this game. Got to win this draw, though. It's up to Henry Dodge. Wins it to a teammate. Vermont on offense with the man up for a minute.
Yeah, you got the full shot clock. You got the minute. I was going to say, if you're under pressure, you could call a timeout, but they won that draw easily.
Got to go through 23 here in green, don't you think?
Yes.
There he is with the ball in his cross. Now back over to Decker. Plenty of time. An opportunity to step down, and Haley buries it. Okay, 2 in a row for the Catamounts. Stemming the tide, if nothing else, of this Syracuse onslaught.
These last 2 shots, perfect placement. Fenech, and then on that rip right there, Brock Haley just pounds the lower corner, and he actually uses the Syracuse defender flashing out as a screen. Shoots it off the shoulder. Will Mark has no idea, A, the trajectory of that shot, but the location is perfect as well. So you're shooting off the defensive pressure, screen the goalie, and you pound the lower corner.
Back to full strength. Syracuse up 4 and the ball after Cone wins the draw. Clock ticking down to 6 minutes left in this first half. And the full field shot, first one we've seen on the year against the 10-man ride. Sails over the top of the goal, but Hiltz was backing it up, so it stays with Syracuse.
10-man ride, you bring Egan out to help the press. You're vulnerable there on a full field launch, and Syracuse recognizes that too. As a shot closest to the ball as it goes out of bounds, you retain possession.
Oh, Mule with a beautiful cut. The feed from Hiltz. Mule's feeling it in his new orange and white duds.
Look at the off-ball play by Mule. It's a swing down to Hiltz. He's got masterful vision. Hiltz with a little subtle feed there. His body and his head looks like he's going upfield to Michael Leo, and he slings that pass right behind the goal. And Christian Mule is showing a lot of versatility. A couple inside goals. He had an outstanding lefty pass to Spallina's one-timer. And if you look at his points and how long he's held the ball, it's a pretty good ratio, Cotter, right? He doesn't have the ball sticking in his stick.
Oh, Syracuse fans will finally remember another transfer from Lehigh and Cole Kirst. And this is a different animal here with Mule, isn't it? I mean, just a totally different look between Hiltz and Spallina at that attack line.
Yeah, Carson would run you over.
Right.
He'd run you over in a bull
slick.
dodge. Yeah, Mule is slippery. One's a lefty, one's a righty. One's a bull dodger, one's a little craftier. Both critical for the success of the Orange. Curse last year, Mule this year.
Here's Whitaker. Back to Decker. He'll look to attack down the alley, forced wide. Back to Whitaker up top. He's got the shorty matchup. He just can't get free. Carter Rice has been on him a couple of times, 12 and white. He's done a nice job D'ing him up.
Loose ball push on Syracuse. You'll see a restart on the shot clock. Fresh 60 for the Catamounts.
So a longer offensive possession for Vermont. Can they make the Qs pay?
He's got to go here. He's got the shorty, Whitaker. This is your best offensive midi. Two-handed dodger with speed.
Rice is showing he's up to the task, though, Cart. Here's Haley. Vermont will spin it around. They'll get it started here with Ryder. Try to force a pass in front. And it'll be an over and back.
Yeah, you saw a good answer by the short stick defensive midfielders. Carter Rice playing some good D. Jake Spallina. That was another question mark in terms of depth. And then Max Rhoa, one of their captains, he's got a lower body injury, most likely out for the season. So it's a next man up mentality with a lot of youth. You're gonna have to go with Trujillo, Spallina, Rice, Kempney.
Titus, the transfer. Or they just outscore everybody.
That's Rhoa.
What a display in the first half. The officials talking it over. The goal call took a little while. But look at Luke Rhoa here.
Here's the deal, Cotter. Do you remember in the first quarter he scored that low angle shot lefty? How does he score this low angle shot? With his right hand. How many players, how many midfielders in the country are that two-handed around the goal line? You know, a lot of guys can be the alley dodgers and they can sweep with their right hand and their left hand with time and room. But he just showed you in this first half his ability to finish in tight quarters with pressure on him with both hands. That, to me, is a difference maker.
Get a hold. It's going to go against Cohen and Syracuse. Syracuse shooting 7 of 12 here in this second quarter.
And it's the 10 turnovers by Vermont, right? So sloppiness in the clearing game. Offensively, some unforced turnovers. You're young. You're going to take it on the chin early in the season. This will not be the finished product. Chris Fipes, his offensive coordinator, Danny Murphy, they'll figure this out.
Yeah, and a wide open America East, too. Albany's going to be good. Bryant, the defending champs, they're going to be back.
Yeah, they got Vermont preseason number 2.
Yep. Bowen can't go anywhere. Cole all over him. Shot clock winding down. Try to force a pass inside. Mark is able to scoop it up. You mentioned the D middies, Clark. This improved defense is going to be huge for Syracuse as Leo splits the defense there and keeps possession. But you got Cole back. You got Dwan back. Figueres now healthy after missing last year back.
Yeah, he was the number 1 rated defender.
Wow, Spallina. It's just when everything seems to fall apart defensively for Vermont, Syracuse takes full advantage.
You're talking about the defense, and this offense can give them opportunities to rest. The face-off unit can let the defense, like Figueres, who I was mentioning, the number 1 rated defender in his class as a freshman, missed last year due to injury. His original classmates, 2 sophomores now, Michael Leo. Gary Gates so high on the sophomore midi, and Spallina. It's the subtle little quick finish. Nothing flashy there. You catch the ball by your ear, and in one motion, your stick's high. Where are you finishing, Cotter?
Low.
You're finishing low. And it's not this big swooping motion to finish low. It's right at the ear. In one motion, it's bam, right to the lower corner.
Another violation against Vermont. So it'll be another 30-second man up for the Cuse.
Yep, this is going to be interesting this year. How do you keep your offensive players happy in terms of who are the 6 guys on the extra man, the power play? Because I could name 10 guys you could roll out. How do you keep them happy? Do you have multiple sets? Do you have one man-up team and another? Because this man-up team was the best in the country a season ago. They scored 11 more goals than the next team. 39 goals. Quinnipiac had 28.
That's a skip. Stevens' pass goes wide, and then you bring in a freshman like Tucker Kellogg, who's got just a howitzer for a shot, and he's got to find a spot, and he is out there right now.
He's out there now.
He'll shoot and score. That's why he's out there now.
This is how good of a shooter he is. Maybe your best midfield shooter is Luke Rhoa. He's not on your extra man. Tucker Kellogg with a BTB from Thomson is a hired gun. He's there to stretch a defense because he hammers the rock well over 100 miles an hour. And what's going to happen as the season progresses, Cotter, teams are going to flash out to Kellogg and try to get on his hands and pressure him and not let him scream the rock. What's going to happen as a result of that? There'll be some inside guys, and they'll have an inside presence on their extra man that will flourish when you have the outside shooter. So they're guys who could sling it from the outside, guys like Rhoa, guys like Hiltz. But Kellogg is a different beast because of how hard he shoots.
First goal in the freshman's career.
9-3. Procedure. 30 seconds. 9-3 procedure. 30.
Now we go the other way. The third illegal procedure against Syracuse on the face-off dot, so it'll be a 30-second man up for Vermont.
Yeah, these
see Vermont with the number
guys.
5. You see Vermont with the number 5 on the back of their helmets there, Cart?
Yep.
That's for Jonas Hunter. He was one of the team captains. There you see it. Good look at it. Injured his ACL for the second time this past December. Missed last year, most of last year. Here he is on the sideline, so it's good to see Jonas Hunter still with the team. But, man, you got to feel bad for a guy like that. Trying to, fighting his way back and then having to re-injure it again.
We saw him in the pregame. He was so upbeat and positive with his teammates, Cotter. Like, your heart breaks for him, right? He wants to be on the field so bad.
Voted team captain and then re-injures that ACL and got to rehab it now from the sideline. That is an unbelievable shot by Charlie Pope. I mean, he puts it right in the near upper corner. I don't even know if Mark looked like he might have been fooled a little bit by that one.
Pope missed last season due to an injury. Chris Fifes is really high on this extra man unit. They shut off Haley, 11 in green. It allows Vermont to go 5-on-4. They recognize it. They spin the rock. The 4 then for Syracuse have to be really compact, kind of in a rectangular setup inside to protect the paint. It allows that beast right there to stick one. And I really like that snappy, quick release, right? He catches it and boom, right from his ear.
Tough angle, too. Cohen wins it to himself. Shows his athleticism and getting away from the defense, runs to space, gets it to Stevens. Final minute of this first half. Inside, nice catch by Hiltz. Look at him. How Canadian is that of Hiltz? 5 guys all around him, and he kept possession for at least a little bit anyways. Now we're going to get a whistle. Hiltz is 5'8", about 190 pounds, and he has no problem mixing it up amongst the trees.
No, not at all. Preseason, I saw him. He had a big beard going. It looks like he shaved for the first time in a couple months.
Oh, really? So he saw Wes Berg in PLL last summer. Got a little inspiration.
Exactly.
Now we get a whistle. Yeah.
Got a hold here.
I think it's going to go against
on
Vermont.
Mule.
Oh, it's going to go beyond Mule.
Yeah, it's on Mule. 2 in white. Christian Mule. He's 3 for 4 shooting on the afternoon. He's got a penalty to add to his stat line. I don't know about that. Did he? Maybe in the beginning he free arm.
The offhand.
Looked like the grab. Yeah, the offhand at the beginning. There's Christian. Brother Cam played at Duke. Was an extra man specialist. Father Jimmy was a legend in the early days of the MLL and a head coach for the Long Island Lizards. Jimmy was a standout goalie for the Philadelphia Barrage, a group they called the Garbage.
Whitaker steps down, shoots high. That's the best look he's had all day. Couldn't finish it though. Marks steals that pass. And now the Orange will look to just let this first half clock run out. They do just that. And a few words at the end on the far side here as Spallina loses his cross, picks it back up. And it looks like that'll end that. 12-5, our halftime scorecard.
Yeah, it's a half where I think ball movement for Syracuse reigns supreme.
So the corresponding unsportsmanlike penalties forced the face-off.
No one had possession at the end of the half.
And this is going to favor Mason Cone and Syracuse. So big job here by Henry Dodge to win this draw, and Cone wins it easily to himself.
Yeah, and there goes your 3 seconds of extra man and then settling into 5-on-5. So now what happens is Syracuse drops into the 5-on-5. And you're dealing with this offense and these Canadians in the pick game going 5-on-5.
So we talk about how the Canadians with their box background, how they do so well when space is at a premium, right? When everything's kind of clogged up there with all the bodies. So why do you expect things to be better when there's more space?
Because I think it gives you more opportunities to set picks in space. You saw that pick in space with Hiltz last time, right? When he became the passer. Right. These guys can throw those harder long passes off of picks and make the defense's rotations longer, more square footage to cover. It's like anything, Cotter. It's like, you know, you take these Canadians, you go from box lacrosse shooting on a 4x4, going to a 6x6. It's like shooting on a soccer goal for these guys. It's the same thing with space and more field.
Tough angle, and English makes it work. It looked like Egan had the pole, had the pipe rather, and wasn't giving English any space, but he found something, some area to beat Egan.
I don't know how this squeaks by Egan.
Oh, it hit his foot and then ricocheted out and hit his cross and back in.
Yeah.
So he made the initial save.
Yeah, he had no angle. There was not much to shoot at. Hits his foot, the ball bounces up, hits the backside of the goalie's stick and goes in. That's why you saw Egan almost like, how did that happen? I'm feeling it on my foot and it still went in.
Tough break for George Egan. English will take it. Second goal of the day. Cone is just owning the face-off dot right now. Quick opportunity, hits the pipe. Egan was able to fall on it.
You saw that big change of momentum, though, right? At 12-5, you think Vermont's going to have the ball, and I think that's what Fifes was arguing, but there was no possession at the end of the second quarter, so it's a face-off. Cone wins, English scores. Now it's 13-5 when potentially could have been 12-6.
Right. Now, how does his offense respond? Remember, they scored first in this game. And it has been a Syracuse onslaught ever since. Vermont was able to take advantage of a man-up situation, scored 2 in a row, and get back into it, but that's one that Mark saw all the way.
I think this defense is going to be much improved down low with Dwan cementing himself as a full-time starter, saw a lot of minutes last year, but now he's one of the main dudes back there in Riley Figueres, 11 in white. I mentioned in the first half, one of the top-rated recruits in the country 2 years ago, blows his knee out in his freshman fall season. Red shirts, now he's back. He could be a #1 cover guy. Dwan, depending on, how big the guy is offensively, could be a #1 cover guy as well.
Hoddle is about 150 pounds soaking wet. He can run like the wind, but he took a shot that time. Good on him to keep possession. Now Spallina shoots, scores! Well, that penalty may have fired up 22 in white.
This is crafty because I've seen Spallina as he's coming up goal line extended with his right hand. I've seen him kind of turn and shoot question mark from this spot as well. This time he just shovels, right? He keeps it in his right hand and backhands it there. If Spallina felt the pressure on his top side, he would have rolled. He feels like it's backside pressure right there. So he continues upfield and doesn't turn. That's the instincts, that's the understanding of your body in control and feeling defensive pressure.
Hat trick for Spallina to go along with 3 assists. Huge afternoon so far for him. Battling for possession just outside the restraining box, won by Syracuse.
You can tell Cone is a big, strong athlete, right? Was committed to Army West Point as a Division I hockey guy, goes to Tufts, plays hockey and lacrosse. We got a hidden ball trick here for a second. But Cone is going to be a massive, massive addition to this team. Not to mention you have one of the better face-off recruits in the country and Johnny Mullins waiting in the wings.
On the run, Egan got a foot on it, looked. Steers it out of bounds, stays with Syracuse as Thomson was closest to it when it crossed the sideline. Spallina will put it in play. Feather to pass. Oh, Egan makes the save, but Thomson almost had a highlight reel goal. It's the creativity, Carc. I mean, for decades we saw it here in this dome, the creativity by some of the most creative players that have ever played the game, and these Syracuse fans have kind of not seen very much of it of late, but they're getting it today.
The best behind-the-back shooter I've ever seen was Tom Marechek, graduated in 1992. That looked like a Tom Marechek BTB, right? Plant your feet, let it rip. No look. And then Egan with a ridiculous stop. That was a sweet play all around. You had the creativity of Thomson and the answer and the stop by Egan.
Whitaker swims to his left and beats Will Mark. Well, if nothing else, Catamount fans are going to look at that and say, yeah, I need to see more of that in 2024.
Yeah, he's so two-handed. A righty who can go to his left with ease, splits the defense, a swim, plants the foot, and this is why you want to be elite with two hands. You saw it with Luke Rhoa. Whitaker the same. The celebration you see on his mask. He's got the tape that says winter is coming. It's always winter in Vermont. I like this guy's upside, though. Old school midfielder, two-way guy, likes to get down the alley. Chris Fifes says he is a relentless worker, sticking his hand every single day, shoots nonstop. Total lax rat who wants to be the best midfielder he can be, and he is a rising star in the America East and nationally.
Yeah, says he'd be shocked if by the end of the year he isn't pulled at every possession. Stevens put his foot in the ground, try to get a better angle. Now Rhoa does, switching back to his right, behind a Mule. So quick. I mean, the passes and then the shots. That wasn't even in Stevens' cross long enough for him to feel the ball on the stick.
Yeah, this ball is spinning.
Spallina, tough angle, over the shoulder, shot, score! Stevens buries that one.
That's the second time Jake Stevens has no business scoring a goal. Look at this BTB pass. Front side pressure, backside glory. Stevens gets crushed, and as he's falling down, this behind the back pass is just silly. And Stevens gets that off with pressure. That is a goal that if you're a young kid, the juices will flow and the inspiration will fly.
You are right. Tim Manning blew him up, and while he's falling down after getting rocked, he has the presence of mind to find a spot near side to beat Egan. Carter Rice thought about it, backed out. That's a smart play by 12 and White.
Yeah, this offense, Cotter, when you watch them like we did last year, they're 8-7, but the offense, for how young they were, was dynamic. Now you add all of these pieces. Stevens, English with the rock right now, Kellogg, Mule, but they're all fitting into the system and understanding the ball movement.
Hiltz loses his footing, now loses the ball. Bardwell comes out with it. See if Vermont
See up there, pop there.
Yeah.
Popped in the top right. Davidson, Clemson. Clemson opens up in the women's front a brand new facility.
You're going to be down there with Charlotte North, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to be down there doing some feature work with Charlotte while she calls the game. And if you see like that facility on Instagram,
oh, I hear it like everything else down there. It's ridiculous. Like,
ridiculous.
The football facility there is ridiculous. Baseball is ridiculous. Softball is ridiculous. We're building a new lacrosse facility. Let's make it ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So you have these facilities throughout the course of the country, right? The Michigans, the Ohio States that are part of the biggest athletic programs in the country, and the Olympic sports have put so much in terms of their resources and horsepower. But what's unique about Clemson is it's a standalone. Their women's lacrosse facility is by itself, and it's lacrosse only, and it's not attached to a bunch of other athletic programs that are part of the bigger facility, because we see some of these facilities are off the charts. It's the standalone approach, though, that just tells you like how into lacrosse and how invested Clemson is moving forward.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Looking forward to seeing you in Charlotte down there this coming week.
Yeah, Charlotte will be calling the game with Drew Carter. Be down there a day or so early doing some feature work with Charlotte. Looking forward to that.
Loose ball, Whitaker giving chase, push in the back. You knew that call was coming. Matt Wright guilty of the infraction. First time we've seen 51 Matt Wright, the transfer from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's been on a couple wings. He's been a little quiet today, but we know his upside. Covering him at North Carolina. Cotter, I think you mentioned on the call with Gary Gate. Matt Wright, when he's healthy, I know how impressed you were when he was at Carolina.
Oh. He's
the real deal.
One of those few that can really nice look right time that time. Spallina, can he make it work? Yeah, he does. What a pass from Billy Dwan. I mean, a close defender with that kind of awareness, Cark, on the fast break, and Spallina wasn't going to miss that one.
Billy Dwan has the lineage. His father, Bill II, was an All-American defender at Hopkins. His uncle, Matt, a long stick menace in the middle of the field. He looked like Matt there. Spallina cans it.
(16-6) our score. Syracuse on top. 6:43 left to go in the third quarter. During the break, Chris Fifes threw the challenge flag, Cark, and this is something we're going to see a whole lot more of, I think, in 2024, as Gary Gate wants an explanation from our officiating crew.
Was a good goal. Challenged by Vermont. 22 White ended up in the goal belt. No goal. Green ball.
Take a look at the replay, Cark.
Yeah, so you get a challenge. If the challenge is wrong, you burn a timeout. You can never fall in the goal mouth if you're an offensive player as you shoot and score, unless it's from defensive pressure. When you review that, it wasn't the defensive pressure that forces Spallina in the goal mouth. His natural movements equating to him falling into that spot. But these are the new video reviews. Get one per half. You'll burn a timeout if the challenge is not reversed. We're going to see a lot of this season. And when you think of the goal mouth has kind of evolved over time, Cotter. It used to be you could never land in the goal mouth and it be a goal. And then we changed the rule where if you land in the goal mouth after the ball crosses the plane because of defensive pressure, it's still a goal. After review on that, it wasn't the defensive pressure that forced Joey Spallina in the goal mouth. It was his natural movements. So that's why they returned it. The bigger picture for college lacrosse is you like to get these rules and these plays correct, right? So video review is good in that sense. The PLL has nailed it because of how quick they can turn it around, right? In terms of college lacrosse, these games are going to go on longer and longer. And Syracuse didn't like that call, so it's a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct. So to add to the no goal, you get the unsportsmanlike.
Mark with a nice save. Yeah, the unsportsmanlike was on the bench. Whether it was Gary or somebody on the bench voiced their displeasure. So 1 minute unreleasable, but Will Mark with a nice save, and now the Orange will just look to burn the remaining 30 seconds on this penalty.
Yeah, there was no face-off because it was a dead ball foul after the goal, and the review was disallowed. But big picture, Cotter, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't love review in the regular season. I think when the teams are getting into conference play and into NCAA play, when seasons are on the line, I'm all about review. But in the regular season, I think to grow this game, I love lacrosse more than anyone, and I'm a junkie, and I could watch it 24 hours a day. Games should be played in a 2-hour window.
Right.
And my concern is these games will go on, and these reviews can take 4 or 5 minutes. And that's not good for the sport.
Egan with a nice save on Hiltz. And not every conference is using the review. I mean, there's talk of the Big Ten not using it and the Big East using it. We saw a review in the Georgetown game earlier today. Now we have one in this game, ACC in a non-conference game. So I think it's just going to be a fluid situation as to who uses it, how they use it, when they use it, conference by conference too, at least until we get to the NCAA tournament when everybody will be using it.
Yeah, and if it was up to me, it's nothing in the regular season. It's the last 4 minutes in conference championship play and NCAA play when a season's on the line and it's single elimination potentially. And then that last 4 minutes, the referees can go to video review under 4 minutes on any type of goal or time scenario. At the end of a shot clock, at the end of regulation, if the ball crosses the plane or if it doesn't, that's where I would like to see review. Not in the regular season, when these games can drag on from 2 hours to 2:15, and if we don't have the right equipment, we're going back and forth, and it's a 2.5-hour game. That's not what we want.
Vermont applying some pressure. Mark is starting to feel it right now in the second half. A couple of big-time saves. Syracuse wanted the call on a high hit. Didn't get it. And a turnover goes the other way. Billy Dwan lost it. A little unsettled here in the last couple of minutes. That call kind of got everybody on edge a little bit. Nine-goal lead for Syracuse. About 3.5 left to go in this third quarter. Carson, Boyle coming upfield. Tough angle. Wide. Syracuse plays. They're right back in action, Clark, Monday night here against Colgate, who upset Penn State in Happy Valley this afternoon.
Yeah, that looked okay 2 weeks ago, right? Now, not so much.
Nice goal scored by Brock Haley. No give up on this Vermont squad.
Brock Haley was the leading point scorer for Vermont last year as an attacker. This time, although a midfielder goes back to his comfort zone, this is a really strong move. I love the players on Vermont giving Brock Haley the space. You see how they flush to that opposite side. There's no bodies inside with feet that aren't moving. They understand Haley is a dodging option, and the offense flows from one side to the other to give him the space he needs to operate.
Haley with a couple today to go along with Whitaker's 2, leading scorers for Vermont.
Yeah, this Colgate game, I mean, if you're Gary Gate, I don't mind early in the season going Saturday, Monday. To win a national championship, you have to play on a Saturday, Monday, right? So the 2 days rest is not that big of a deal. I think every team should get into a rhythm at some point, doing that once or twice a season. But Colgate, after beating Penn State, who was in championship weekend a season ago with a lot of horsepower back, Liam Connor scores his first career goal for Colgate with 4 seconds left to beat the Nittany Lions.
That's crazy. Tough angle for Hiltz. I think if he doesn't hit the far pipe, I don't even know if that goes in. We do have a flag down. Let's check the marker. This is going to be post goal penalty here. I'm not sure when the flag came down, but this is impressive. Pick up the flag.
Technical
Check
foul,
out the goal.
yeah, 30-second technical foul is wiped out. Hiltz has a shorty, it's go time. You're talking about craziness. The angle here is nothing. The margin for error is slim. And the shot is perfect. You see the wrists and the change of level too? So he's so patient too. A lot of times when you have a shorty on you, it's rush mode. I gotta make a couple quick moves. Hiltz is like, all right, I'm gonna get you in slow-mo here. I'm going to put you to sleep with a nice roll, and I'm going to answer with this lever shot with just my wrists. He doesn't even have to beat his man when he shoots like that. You could shoot around the defense. The accuracy is nuts.
Had to be perfect, and it was. Lead is back to 16-7. Now 2 minutes to go in the third. Pope loses his footing. Tries to get it back. Ball still on the carpet. Still down. Jake Spallina tried to pick it up. Oh, Hiltz. Now he says slow it down. As the elder Joey Spallina picks it up. Spallina's are going to have their own wing. They're going to have their own wing at Syracuse. You got Joey, you got Jake, you got Brett. Oldest daughter's going to be coming to Syracuse in a couple of years. Just announced her commitment, class of 25.
Alexis Spallina, #1 rated recruit in the country in the 2025 girls lacrosse class. Kayla Trainer landed a gem.
Under 10 to shoot for Stevens. Behind the back, Hiltz couldn't handle it. And that'll be a shot clock violation. Dad Joe Spallina's the head coach at Stony Brook for the women's team. That's a national ranked team.
Green, number 23, 30 with a hold. Green, 23, 30 seconds hold.
Twisting
Whitaker on the hole.
Sit for 30 seconds.
Yeah, he gets caught on D. Yeah, it looked like they got him with Camo grinding through. Yeah, Joe Spallina Sr. is the head coach at Stony Brook's, coached at various levels of lacrosse in the MLL for the Long Island Lizards and Team USA with Jenny Levy on the women's front. Stony Brook's red and blue, their colors. I'm afraid there's going to be a lot more orange in that house.
Leo. Oh, tough angle for 7. He saw 77 put it in the far side of the net before, and now he says, that's my turn to show you I can hit a perfect shot and beat George Egan. Now we get another flag after the fact.
There could have been some more chirping. Yeah, Leo does a nice job of, 5-hole, because Egan has the pipe covered. You're not going to score high on him there. It's hard to shoot to the far pipe because the defensive pressure that's coming squeezes it in. I think that's going to be a foul on Syracuse. There was a lot of chirping on that end.
6-6. Unsportsmanlike conduct, 1 minute. Both are full time. We have a face-off.
I think we had it on both ends.
Leo is shrugging his shoulders. Not sure what's going on. You see Coach Pat March.
It looked like there was an unsportsmanlike on both teams. Yeah, 66 in green.
That's Jack Combs. He's sitting.
Yeah, he's sitting, and I think, well, yeah, there's Finn Thomson, 23.
Right.
It was the join after the goal. Both teams were letting each other have it. And you know what? This is the first game. There's a lot of excitement. If I'm Gary Gate, I'm Chris Fifes, I tell my team in the locker room after, that's the last of it. Like, get this out of your system now. The chirping, you never win. You're going to get busted, and you're going to hurt your team. And if you get into a habit of doing this later on in the season, in conference play, if you're Vermont, in the America East, Syracuse, if you're in the ACC, you don't want that.
You don't want that either. What you just saw there, Mason Cone looked like he was holding his wrist, or hopefully that's just banged and bruised up as
and you hope that
Fogos are
in the offseason. Yeah, he had some difficulty. He didn't play in the fall because of an injury in that area. Which hand it was, hard to tell. Woo.
Leo off the pipe as the final horn sounds. Gary Gate, in his 3rd year as the head man at Syracuse, has his team hitting on all cylinders. 17-7 as we head to the 4th.
Absolutely. I mean, Mason Cone holds the keys to this season, and I hate to put so much pressure on him. And Johnny Mullins as well is only a freshman. You want him to kind of come around and grow organically under Mason Cone. You hit it, though, Cotter. Last year, Duke's Jake Naso was the best face-off man in the country, but he took like 95% of the face-offs. And by championship weekend, he went under 50% in 2 games. And Duke lost the national title to Notre Dame with Jake Naso going under 50%. How much tread is on the tire? Now, the good thing for Duke is Jake Naso has a freshman face-off guy in Cal Girardi, who's outstanding. And he will assist Naso in terms of pacing himself and giving him some rests in big games and understanding that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Sam Alexa with a great play, helping out defensively to force that turnover.
Also Mason Cone looked like it was his wrist or his hand. What did you see there?
The good thing is that he kind of shared a laugh with Coach Gate during the break in between the 3rd and 4th quarter, so Gary Gate wasn't too overly concerned. You think about John Mullen, the other thing too is you need a counter guy, don't you? I mean, don't you need a guy, if it's not working for whatever reason, every face-off guy has another face-off man, an opponent that's kryptonite for them. That just they can't win draws against. And if you have another guy who's a different style, like Mullen might have a different style than Cone, I think you kind of need that, don't you?
Absolutely, and when you have a lead in a game like this by 10, those are the reps you want John Mullen to have, right? Like Mason Cone showed his worth in the first half, went 10 for 17, and then he started blitzing Vermont in the 3rd quarter. You're up by 10. I don't want to see Mason Cone again. If I'm a Syracuse fan, if I'm Gary Gait, I'm going to Johnny Mullen for the rest of these faceoffs. Give him experience. He's only a freshman. Let him understand what it's like playing in front of the dome. And the fans up here with the bright lights, it's a great opportunity for him. But you also don't want to push the envelope with Mason Cone.
George Egan continues his good play in his debut as a starting netminder. It's his team now after waiting in the wings. He has 8 saves. He's given up 17 goals, but he's seen a lot of good shots from this Syracuse offense. Mark got a piece of that one. Reset the shot clock to 60.
It was a nice move by Decker. 2 and green behind. I think he could have taken an extra step upfield to increase his angle there. That one hits the pipe. Like how Vermont's attacking from behind.
Oh, there's Egan. Now Vermont will look to go quickly the other way. Got a pole trailing in the middle. Opts to get it to Decker. Now Whitaker. Mark makes the save. That looked like it was destined to find the back of the net, didn't it?
It did, but Mark deceptively kind of has that crouched over low base, right? Like he bends really low. So it's hard to beat him when you think you have a free pipe. It's hard to really recognize where your spaces are. If Whitaker really puts on the tape and scouts, sometimes high heat in a moment like that on a low crouching goalie like Mark, who's covering so much of the base, if you can keep that by your ear, get it under the crossbar to that opposite side, I think he had way more of an opportunity to hit that.
Mark with 11 saves on the day. Syracuse getting some players some playing time here in the 4th quarter.
You see Trey Deer in there, 91 in white. You want to see a young player with a handle. Trey Deer is one of those guys. He'd be on, I don't know, probably 90% of the extra man units in the country right now. He's a phenomenal box lacrosse player. And his hands are gold. But the issue here is with Trey Deer is, who are you going to sit, right? You're a freshman if you're Deer. You're going to sit Owen Hiltz? Christian Mule? I mean, it's hard to crack this lineup offensively for a young guy.
Oh, Colin Decker lost it. Here we go the other way with the orange. Caden Cole. Caden Cole slow to get up. I think he was just too tired running the length of the field. Now he retreats. Jimmy McCool in the game now for Syracuse in net. That's a pass. It'll be a turnover.
I think it's smart by Gary Gait, knowing you have a game on Monday, right? Rest your guys. Jimmy McCool is basically the left-handed version of Will Mark. I watched him in a fall practice when he first arrived on campus in the fall of 2022. He redshirted a season ago. This guy is going to be a phenomenal goalie at the college ranks. I mean, he keeps Will Mark on his toes. I mean, Will Mark's spot is his spot. He's an All-American goaltender. Jimmy McCool is not far behind him. It's like when you're a goalie, if you're not the guy, just like in football as a quarterback, right? You're not going to get on the field. You're going to play one quarterback. Some teams have that freshman phenom of a backup quarterback, Cotter. Jimmy McCool's that guy. Like, you know you're good at that position for the next 4 years.
Yeah, coach said he was really happy with the way McCool played in the second half of their scrimmage against Michigan. So he's going to get some playing time here in the fourth quarter. Now we get a whistle as Charlie Pope comes out of the scrum with it. And we'll get a timeout called on the field. 8:31 left to go in this one. Syracuse, the Orange, in complete control, up 10 over Vermont.
And the University of Pennsylvania, Roy Simmons gave Gary Gait a blank canvas, and he ran with it. And from that day on, it fueled the next generation of stars. The Powell brothers, the Thompsons at Albany, the Kavanaughs at Notre Dame. A certain type of flair, a creativity that fuels the next generation. Stylistically, it started with Gary and Paul Gait. Case closed.
Shot clock violation against Vermont. And you mentioned Paul, number 19. You saw 22 a couple of times in the rafters. Paul will have his 19 put up there in the Ring of Fame later on this spring. So looking forward to that.
I mean, this Q's team is firing, man.
Yeah, it's crazy that Paul's going to be only the third lacrosse player in Syracuse history to have his name and number put up there in the Ring of Fame.
You know, Gary Gait's the best midfielder of all time. He's the best player of all time. The second best midfielder of all time is probably Paul Gait. Just so happens that he's a twin and he's on the same midfield as his brother.
Yeah, that twinship is not like Jose and Ozzie Canseco. That is like 1A and 1B, right? Very different.
Yeah.
Flag after the play. Goal for Syracuse. Tyler McCarthy, freshman midi out of Oakdale, New York.
Yeah, he's a grinder, man. He's going to be a really good player for Syracuse. Part of that 91 contingency on Long Island. It's a two-way stud. This is the 16th different shooter for Syracuse today. I mean, they are spreading the ball. So many.
Took a shot to the head, too, so it'll be a full-time 1 minute man up for Syracuse. There's a hold there. Yeah, a loose ball hold against Vermont. So possession to Syracuse. That's a big face-off win.
Yep.
Full-time man-up penalty here for a minute.
You'll roll out this unit. Hitting ball tricks, ball spinning around. I mean, this ball's going to fly, Cotter.
Yeah, that is quick.
I know this is game one, and we don't know much about Vermont because so many new pieces, right? Virtually an entire new lineup. There's something about this offense and the way that they're playing. I don't care who they're playing against. When the ball moves like that, it just shows you that it's part of their DNA. They've got 18 goals, 12 of them are assisted. The ball's moving at hyperspeed. And nobody, you just get the feeling when you watch them, just their body language feels like they need to hold on to the ball too long. Like they're all bought in to this scheme and this system.
Fenech coming upfield, no angle. Finds Pope. That shot was altered. It'll stay with Vermont.
Well, credit Vermont, too. Much cleaner in the second half. Only 3 turnovers. They had 12 in the first half. So they're finding a groove in game one, too. With all these new faces, it's going to take time. When you play offense with new faces, there's cadences, right, that you have to deal with. There's, in terms of the nuances of all your teammates, the other 5 guys playing. When are they going to cut? How are they going to cut? What do they like to do with the ball? What's the deception like in their passing? All those pieces come into play. In game one, it's really hard when you have 6 new dudes out there.
And even players that you have coming back have switched positions, like Haley and Boyle have moved from the attack to the middle of the field. Their focus will be when America East conference play starts. That promises to be a very competitive conference. Syracuse puts another one on the board. That's Barrett White. Florida kid.
This is a nice rip. Watch him plant his feet. Oh, use the defender as a screen too. That's a beautiful rip right here. Get the stick back, full hip rotation, use the defender as a screen. Check, check, check. Barrett White has some size to him too, Cotter. 6'3", he's rangy. You know what the beauty of when you have a first unit that plays a certain way and plays selfless and the ball is shared, your backups learn and understand that way of playing offense too. So it trickles down to the entire program and the DNA of the team. You're not going to see your starters play one way and then some of these guys who are getting late game minutes play a completely different way, because that's how they're instructed to play in practice. That's how the stars, the guys that they want to beat out, are playing selfless lacrosse. If you're a young guy, you better play selfless lacrosse because you're not needed otherwise.
Crafton with the lefty on the run. And a big hit right at the midfield stripe. Pope wanted a call, didn't get it.
Yeah, Borges lit him up. Borges' dad is from my hometown, Yorktown, New York, and Blake's from Yorktown.
He must be a legend then. He must be a legend.
Well, he came
late.
late.
From Yorktown was a legend.
His dad, Joe, didn't have true roots until high school. Was at Croton and moved in high school to Yorktown. So we adopted him and loved him, but he wasn't a made man. To be a made man, you got to go through the YEC youth program.
Gotcha.
And you got to play for a guy like Tony DeAndrea. And you got to learn the ropes. I got to bring you back to Yorktown, man. I got to bring you back. You'd be a legend because I talk about you so much.
Right,
and we're always together. You'd be taken care of, man. Everyone would have your back.
Got to go to the delis, the pizza parlors, the barber shops.
Yep. The Rhoa building for a fade. Maria's Pizza.
Final 3 minutes here from the Dome. Crowd getting a sneak peek of what this new look Syracuse team is all about. Minor, they've got Colgate, who upset Penn State in Happy Valley earlier today. They've got them on Monday, then Manhattan before you and I will be in the Dome for what promises to be a huge early season showdown between Maryland on the 17th, Maryland and Syracuse. On the run. Brett Tenaglia. Here's a veteran.
Tenaglia's a captain. Yeah, he's a veteran. He's a captain. He's waited his time, and it's a beautiful thing to see when a senior is getting late minutes, maximizes the opportunity, and look at that high rip, too. And Tenaglia is a left-handed player. You see his offhand on display. That's a sweet take. Tells you a lot about a locker room, too, Cotter, right? When maybe he's not a starter, maybe he's not on the second line, he's still a captain. He's doing all the little things in terms of leading.
Redshirt senior from New Fairfield, Connecticut. Getting involved on the score sheet. There's Jake Titus, 81, another one of those transfers. Two-time D3 All-American. 81
Cotter,
and
you mentioned
some playing time.
You mentioned Maryland in a couple weeks.
Oh.
To me, that's the game of the month. Do you agree?
Yeah, it really, because for both teams. I mean, for Maryland to show, like, Maryland's thinking, everyone's talking about Hopkins and Michigan and Penn State in the Big Ten. This is still our league, so it's an opportunity for them to show they can go on the road and say we're still the top team in the Big Ten. For Syracuse, for all the reasons we just talked about, they think they're back. Well, that's a huge test right there. When you knock off a Maryland team at home, then you're back.
Yeah, 6 p.m. start on a Saturday, February 17th. The Dome should be rocking. And I think a lot of questions answered, right? Because Mason Cone will go into a heavyweight battle at the face-off dot against Weirman, who 2 years ago was a first-team All-American when they won it all in 2022. And that offense in 2022, in terms of new era lacrosse, set the standard in terms of ball movement. The way they moved the ball in that championship run 2 years ago when Bobby Benson was the offensive coordinator, Logan Wisnauskas won the Tewaaraton and had over 100 points. That was the standard in terms of ball movement. That's what everyone's chasing. And I think this Syracuse offense has that ingredient in terms of playing selfless. I'm not saying they're the 2022 undefeated Terps. I'm saying their offense has a piece of that. And when you have a piece of that offensively, you're a nightmare for opposing teams because you don't know how to scout that kind of team. Because you're not just relying on one-on-one dodging tendencies. When the ball spins at hyperspeed, your defense has to be at red alert. And the ball moves faster than any human.
Maryland got a scare today. Double overtime win against a tough Richmond team. Rich Motti always has Richmond playing tough, and they're always a scary opponent, especially early in the year. Jimmy McCool with the save. Jimmy McCool's kind of got the long hair flowing out the back of the helmet. I need to see the picture in the media guide of Johnny Cool from Ohio State next to Jimmy McCool at Syracuse. Remember Johnny Cool last year? He looked like Vinny Barbarino.
He looked like John Travolta, which is the highest compliment I could give the guy. I mean,
right, from one Italian to another. That's like the greatest compliment.
Johnny Cool. You did that imitation of Travolta. Give it to us before we go off air. Do it for me, boss.
Coach, I should be in the game right now, Coach. (20-7) the final. Syracuse, they open up their account in 2024 with a W over Vermont. For Paul Carcaterra and our entire crew here in Syracuse, I'm Chris Cotter. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Notre Dame and Pitt on the hardwood. Wes Durham and Dan Bonner with the call. Enjoy that one. We'll see you next time.